What's the most stupid thing to do the smartest person you know? My colleagues asked me to take the correspondence to the mailbox. She asked me where it is and how it looks like. At the corner, such a red mailbox. It turned out that there was another red mailbox with a total distance of about 2 meters from it, a red mailbox with a post from Australia. She sent the post to the trash can. One of my professors in the university was a doctor of science twice and had several degrees of master's degree, headed a national journal on his specialty and used great respect in the scientific community. But he didn't know that electric e-cigarettes actually exist. He even argued with us. My brother, my wife, is a pretty smart guy. He took a bath for his child. He couldn't turn off the tap in a crazy panic, called his friend Santechnic and asked him to come faster, otherwise he would be in trouble. And his friend is like this, but you can just pull out a traffic light from the bathroom. A very good, very smart guy with a complete absence of garbage. I lived in Colorado Springs. My friend came to the city and settled in a hotel. I called him and asked him to give me the name or address of the hotel, and he told me that he didn't know, but from the place where he is, you can see the mountains. He took the search for his location until the hour train. I am not sure that he is the smartest person in all my acquaintances, but I know a pretty smart astrophysicist who once pointed out to the star, who actually turned out to be a plane. I drove over to my girlfriend, her future wife, and her neighbor in the room, a different person with the highest score on the course, quickly turned away from the TV and said in full seriousness, "Don't look, there is welding, it's bad for the eye." She became more and more serious while I continued to translate the view from the TV to her and back. And then she shouted, "You can blind," then I asked, "So when on TV they show the image of the sun, then I didn't have time to talk." Her face with a wave rolled over the feeling of shame. She immediately started to laugh, cry and begged me not to tell anyone about it. My friend has a degree of magic in the field of machine building and robotics. Once he cooked a potato salad with a raw potato, because he thought that once it is a salad, then the potato is not needed to cook. My brother's friend was the best student in the class. Once during the college studies, he collected the deer and cockroaches to play with his neighbor in the room, putting it in a box with chocolate balls with Cocoa Puffs. In 2 days he forgot about it and went to pour himself a plate of Cocoa Puffs. But instead of delicious sweet balls, he put a whole spoon of deer shit in his mouth. My father is an engineer programmer and a pretty smart person. When we were 7 years old, he was with us at home alone. And on that day he began to cough blood, but he didn't tell anyone about it and decided to just wait until Mom comes back home, instead of asking someone else to look after us and go to the hospital. My mom was angry because when she came back home, he kind of didn't mean to mention cough with blood. It turned out that he had bronchopneumonia and he spent a couple of weeks in the hospital. He even had to stop and start a heart again. He almost died because he decided that cough with blood doesn't count as something extreme. My brother has a doctor's degree in the field of bioengineering. Once we talked on the phone and he gave up. I can't find my phone. Probably his children are somewhere else. He didn't catch up until I told him that he uses his phone to talk to me. My father, when he started to go to college, he had a cough with one ear. He went to the party with his father-in-law. One girl talked to him there and decided to give him one of her coughs. But he didn't want to take out his earring, so he pierced her with a coughed earring. Now he is an engineer. My friend, who is now a great doctor, once, riding on skis, he noticed that he could jump over his moving sands. And jump over a flat rock and land back on the sand. During the movement, he realized that he couldn't take the right position for a jump. And cut himself into a flat rock. The most stupid genius I've ever met. I have a neighbor. He is, of course, the smartest person I know. A couple of days ago, in the US, he bought a quarter-dynamic ball. And attached it to a radio-controlled boat with an explosion and a timer button. He lowered it at night on the lake, opened the button, but the boat didn't explode. Then he took it to the house to repair it, but he didn't turn off the detonation button. When he put everything on, he turned on the 7-second timer. As a result, the boat exploded into the house and knocked out all the windows. Nobody suffered. There, where we live, it's not worth getting in touch with the Medas. They can beat you up. Once, my partner, an expert engineer, a construction worker, a super rational, smart, an excited and almost impulsive person, goes along the edge of the water in the beginning of the Medas season. He sees some kind of mass in the water. It looks like a medusa. He sticks his finger on the skis and touches it with this mass. Damn, it was a stone. When I stopped fucking with the stupidity of the witness who just got up, I put this stone in my pocket. I gave it to him as a congratulations. With an amazing career growth. Just to remind you that he is not afraid of mistakes in his decisions. My father is the smartest person I know, the same opinion of all his acquaintances. And once when we were children, he tried to make us laugh, stabbing the peasants in the nose. And, in the end, he accidentally breathed them into the nose passes. But the best thing is that he is a surgeon on the ears, nose and throat, one of the best in the region. I still remember how he begged my mom to pull them out. Because he could not stand in front of his colleagues. With his throat in his nose, which he voluntarily put in there. He tried to jump over the palin with boxes. Connected with his back and arms, he broke his lip. I studied at the last course with a guy who received almost an ideal evaluation for an entrance exam in the medical department. And at the same time, I ate a raw chicken breast. Because I thought it was a bad pie. He was sober. It is changed, for everyone who asks, it was a frozen chicken breast. In an individual package in a panning and with filling. He thought it was something similar to a hard-packed pie. He warmed up the microwave for a minute. Or how often these pies are cooked and ate. He ate it so quickly that he did not ask why it was so slippery. Or, so to speak, still frozen. Another time, when he started in middle school, he was 14 at that time. His mom cooked lunch for him and at the same time fed the cat. She worked on 3 jobs and was a real angel, and she mixed the porridge with canned tuna. And then she put it in his sandwich. So he also ate a sandwich with porridge and food. He realized this as a post-fact, but he was too polite to say something to his very tired mom. Now he is a surgeon. My sister. My beautiful sister. She is so smart and educated, but damn it. They had a check in their house. And the inspector found a problem with gas heating. They called the repairman. And it turned out that they had a small leak of coal gas. When he asked why there are not several working detectors, she replied, well, I had them, but one of them was just not stopping. The case was 10 years ago, and we still remember it often. Fortunately, everyone was fine, but it is unlikely that it would take so long. My older brother was the best school graduate, and once he decided to cut the apple with a big knife, holding it in his hand. He still has a wonderful scar. I finished school with a person who gave me a great SAT, a test for academic skills. But I managed to cut off 2 fingers on the lesson of labor, trying to build a squarish. My late father was a specialist in elementary and sub-elementary parts. He understood things that, I think, I do not exaggerate here, understand only about 3,000 to 5,000 people. He was in a team that worked on the calculation of the mass of the Higgs boson, but they made a mistake. In addition to the fact that he was a physicist, he also studied history and received 2 degrees of baccalaureate in the Massachusetts Technological Institute, one in physics, another in history. It is not double the specialty of 2 separate scientific degrees in 4 years. No matter how it was, at the end of the 90s, these guys deceived too. Bankers. They wrote him a separate check for $200. Or something like that, and he gave them cash. It's easy. My father is a specialist in insurance. In fact, there is something between a mathematician and an economist. He wrote a textbook in his region and was a general director of several very large companies. Many years ago, I returned home and heard how the age of empires is climbing 1,000,000 decibels. It's strange. I went down and saw that he plays the game in headphones that are not connected. He turned on the sound in the speakers louder because he could not hear anything due to the pressure with the noise of the headphones. And at the end of the day, he put the headphones on back and forth. On this day, it causes me a headache. The owner of the company in which I work is one of the smartest people I've ever met. If you know someone who was involved in endoprotein from the OZB, most likely, this person was developing a prosthesis. He owns about 15 to 20 patents on the product of his development. He created a company and sold them to any market. But even he has a few blind zones. Once, he came to me and asked which side of the converter the brand is sticking to. He never used to send anything on the internet because his mother, then his wife, did everything for him. My friend is really good at mathematics. She literally studied it for fun. Once, we went together and she said, "Guys, this morning I saw something on Facebook. Until 3000, we only have 81 years left." It was in 2019. I decided that she would laugh at me and say, hey, this year. I decided that she would laugh at the stupid people on Facebook. And then she added, "Can you imagine?" And then I realized that my friend, who I love to count, sincerely thought that 2019 plus 81 is equal to 3000. My father, a professor of technical college, lowered his loan to $20,000 and could completely close it. But he came on who bought a completely new car, broke it, bought another new car, gave it to a girl who then met. They broke up. The car remained for a long time. It should be $250,000 in the same mortgage. We were at a conference where the bulimia was mentioned and she said, "I think I have ancestors from there." And in the end, she was recently diagnosed with bulimia. My mother's friend, a doctor of biological science, specializing in mushrooms. And she was also a little bit an artist. And at the time she was doing a rice fight with bacteria. Before, she tried to do it with mushrooms, but the process took too much time. After several years of working with bacteria, she decided that they were also not fast enough. Therefore, she switched to insects. She ordered forbidden bugs from Japan, did not lay insecticides from South America and went to make them with the help of lids on the wood. That's all. The government caught their attention. When she was built Ablava, there were 6 federal agencies and, at least, only state ones. FBR, an agency on the protection of the environment, the management of the fight with drugs, the service of fish, resources and wild animals, the Ministry of Agriculture, their Yukon Border Service. Oh, I am a professor of biology at the college, it worked great. The management of the fight with drugs and FBR were ready to close her insecticide eyes on the basis of cocaine. Because she had the right to buy it, filling a couple of blanks. The protection of the surrounding environment and the border service did not worry her illegal and boring bugs for the same reason. The service of fish, resources and wild animals did not understand why they were there. The problem was in the Ministry of Agriculture. During the search in her house, they found a package with mushrooms, cabbage, open on the kitchen table, next to the toaster. She even turned away from it. Do not forget to watch our other videos.